All right, so looks like we're going deep on insurance premiums today.
Yeah.
You send over some articles about some pretty big hikes that are supposed to be coming to Korea.
Right.
And we're going to try to figure out why these changes are happening.
Okay.
And most importantly, what it means for, you and me and everyone listening.
Sounds good, yeah. It's definitely a hot topic right now.
For sure.
Especially with these price increases set to hit in April.
Yeah, that's coming up quick.
Yeah.
One of the things that I thought was really interesting in these articles that you sent over was this idea of out-of-print marketing.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like insurers are trying to get people to sign up for policies now,
right,
before the prices go up in April.
Yep.
And it's almost like they're creating this artificial scarcity.
Yeah.
Like
limited edition sneakers or something.
Exactly, yeah.
Create sense of urgency.
Yeah.
But it's important that we don't let that overshadow the real reasons behind these premium increases.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. So let's get into it.
Okay.
The articles point to adjustments being made to what they call assumed cancellation rates.
Right.
By financial authorities in Korea.
Mm-hmm.
And this is particularly for these things called non- and low-resolution products.
Okay.
Can you help us kind of unpack what all of that means?
Sure.
Yeah.
So when you buy an insurance policy, you pay a premium to the insurance company, right?
Right.
And that premium goes into a pool of money that the company uses to pay out claims when people need to use their insurance.
Okay.
Now, non- and low-resolution products are types of insurance where you get little to no refund if you cancel your policy.
So if I'm understanding this correctly, with these types of policies, the insurance companies were previously allowed to estimate a high number of people canceling.
Yes.
Even though they might not have had a lot of data to support that assumption.
Precisely. And what were the implications of them assuming a high cancellation rate? Well, it made their financial performance look better on paper. So if they assume a high cancellation rate, they're essentially saying, we're collecting all these premiums, but we probably won't have to pay out as many claims because people will cancel before they need to use their insurance.
Oh, so they're bringing in all this money.
Yes.
And it's making them look good.
Right.
But they're not really.
It kind of skews the picture of their actual risk.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a financial shell game.
You could say that, but now financial authorities are stepping in and saying, hold on, those assumed cancellation rates are too high. You need to be more realistic.
Interesting.
And that's what's driving these premium hikes.
Okay.
By lowering the assumed cancellation rate, insurance companies are now having to factor in the possibility of paying out more claims, and that added cost gets passed on to consumers through higher premiums.
And we're not just talking about like a small increase here.
Right.
The articles are saying that we could see up to 20 to 30%.
Wow.
For some of these non- and low-resolution products.
Yeah.
So let's just say your current monthly premium is $100.
Yeah.
You could be looking at an extra $20 to $30 coming out of your pocket every month.
Yeah.
That's a big jump.
It certainly is, and this is where the out-of-print marketing comes in.
Right.
Insurers see this as a chance to lock people into policies at the current lower rates before those prices jump up. They're essentially playing on people's fear of missing out on a good deal.
Yeah, that makes sense from a business perspective, but I wonder if it's really in the best interest of the consumer.
Right.
I mean, shouldn't choosing an insurance policy be about finding the right coverage for your needs?
Yeah.
Not just grabbing the cheapest option.
Absolutely.
Because it's about to disappear.
I think that's a really important question to consider.
Yeah.
There's a lot to unpack there, and rushing into a decision based solely on marketing pressure could lead to some long-term financial disadvantages.
Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah. It's like going grocery shopping when you're hungry.
Oh, yeah.
You end up buying a bunch of stuff you don't need.
Yeah.
Just because it looked good in the moment. The same thing can happen with insurance.
Right.
That pressure to get a deal can lead you to choose a policy that doesn't actually fit your needs.
So it sounds like it's not as simple as just saying yes to the first offer that comes along.
Exactly.
Especially with all these price hikes coming.
Right. And it's important to remember that insurance is a long-term commitment.
Yeah, for sure.
Switching policies might seem tempting, just looking at that surface, but there's more to it than just the monthly premium.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So what kind of things should people be thinking about then?
Well, for starters, if you have an existing policy and you're thinking about switching, you need to factor in the premiums you've already paid.
Oh, right.
You might not get all of that back if you cancel early.
Yeah. Some policies have those surrender charges.
Exactly.
Or penalties for early cancellation.
Yeah.
So you could end up losing money.
Yeah.
Even if the new policy has a lower monthly premium.
That's a really good point. It's not as simple as just comparing the monthly premiums side by side.
Yeah.
You need to do the math.
Right.
And consider the long-term costs.
Okay.
Sometimes it might actually be more beneficial to stick with your current policy, even with the premium increase.
So how can people figure out, what's the best decision for their own personal situation?
Well, talking to an insurance professional can be incredibly helpful.
Yeah.
They can help you analyze your current coverage, compare it to other options on the market,
Okay.
and make sure you're making a decision that aligns with your needs and your budget.
So it's like getting a second opinion
Exactly.
before making a big decision.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we've talked about these premium hikes and this out-of-print marketing tactic, but what are the authorities in Korea doing about all of this?
Yeah, good question.
Are they stepping in to regulate this?
Well, from what I've gathered from these articles, the financial authorities have recommended that insurers refrain from using this out-of-print marketing strategy.
Okay, so they're not like banning it outright.
Right. It seems like they're taking more of a wait-and-see approach, recognizing that there might be some legitimate reasons for insurers to offer limited-time deals,
Yeah.
but also acknowledging the potential for consumers to be misled or pressured into making hasty decisions.
So they're kind of walking a fine line,
Right.
trying to protect consumers,
Yeah.
but also let the market do its thing.
Exactly.
The articles did mention potential sanctions and consumer warnings, though.
That's right. They're making it clear that they're not afraid to intervene if necessary.
Okay.
They're going to be keeping a close eye on how this all unfolds, looking for any signs of deceptive marketing practices, and they're prepared to issue warnings or even impose penalties if they see fit.
So it's not like consumers are just being thrown to the wolves.
Right.
There are some safeguards in place.
Exactly. But it's still so important for individuals to be informed and proactive.
Yeah.
Do your own research. Ask questions. Don't be afraid to push back against any sales tactics that feel pushy or manipulative. You have the right to make an informed decision without feeling pressured.
It sounds like this whole situation really underscores the importance of being an informed consumer, especially when it comes to something as complex as insurance.
I couldn't agree more. Insurance is often full of jargon and fine print, and it can be overwhelming to try to understand it all. But taking the time to learn about your coverage, knowing your rights, and making deliberate decisions can save you a lot of headache and potentially a lot of money in the long run.
So what's the bottom line here?
Yeah.
What does all of this mean for our listener who's tuning in today?
I think the biggest takeaway here is that insurance is about more than just getting the lowest price. It's about finding the right coverage for your individual needs and making sure you understand the terms and conditions of any policy before you sign on the dotted line.
And with all of these changes happening in Korea, it's more important than ever to resist the urge to make impulsive decisions based on fear or pressure.
Right.
Don't let yourself get caught up in that out-of-print marketing frenzy.
That's exactly right. Take your time, do your research, read those policy documents carefully, and ultimately make a choice that feels right for you, not for the insurance company.
So it's almost like we need to kind of shift our mindset when it comes to insurance.
Yeah.
Instead of just focusing on the cost, we should think of it as an investment
Okay.
in our financial security and peace of mind.
I love that. Insurance is there to protect you from the unexpected. And while it's wise to be mindful of costs, you don't want to skimp on coverage and leave yourself vulnerable. It's about finding that right balance.
Yeah, so to recap, be informed, be deliberate, and don't be afraid to ask for help or advice if you need it. There are resources available to help you navigate this complex world of insurance.
Great advice. Knowledge really is power in this situation. The more you understand about your insurance, the better equipped you'll be to make sound decisions.
This whole conversation has got me thinking about how we approach all the big purchases in our lives.
Yeah.
Like we'll spend hours and hours researching, a new phone or comparing vacation packages.
Yep.
But how many of us really dedicate that same kind of attention to understanding our insurance policies?
It's a great point. Insurance often gets relegated to that necessary evil category.
Yeah.
Something we know we need but don't really want to think about.
Right. It's not exactly like a fun dinner party conversation.
Right.
But it is protecting us from some pretty major risks,
Oh, yeah.
like financial ruin from an accident or, huge medical bills.
Absolutely. And it's not just about having any insurance. It's about having the right insurance, right? Coverage that actually aligns with your life, your individual needs, and your circumstances.
So maybe this whole, premium hike situation in Korea with all of this uncertainty and potential for confusion,
Yeah.
maybe it's actually a good thing.
What do you mean?
Well, it's forcing people to pay attention,
Oh, okay.
to take a closer look at their policies. and make sure they're actually, being served well by their insurance.
Right.
It's almost like a wake-up call.
Yeah, I like that perspective. It's an opportunity to reassess.
Yeah.
To make more informed decisions about our coverage and potentially even find better options that we didn't know existed.
So to our listener out there, if you haven't reviewed your insurance policies in a while, and let's be honest, who really loves doing that?
Right.
Now's the time.
Yeah.
Don't wait until you need to file a claim.
Yeah.
To realize that you're underinsured or, your policy doesn't cover what you thought it did.
Couldn't agree more. Take some time to read the fine print. Ask your insurance provider or an independent advisor those clarifying questions you've been putting off, and make sure you have that peace of mind that comes from knowing you're truly protected.
That's great advice. It all comes back to that idea that knowledge is power.
Yeah.
The more we understand about insurance, the better we'll be able to navigate this whole complex landscape and make choices that work for us.
Well said. And on that note, we'll wrap up our deep dive into the world of insurance premiums. But remember, the conversation doesn't have to end here.
That's right. Keep learning, keep asking questions, and keep advocating for your own best interests. And as always, thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.